And with us right now is Maggie Blackwell. She is the board secretary for United. They have their meeting coming up on Tuesday, their regular monthly board meeting. Nice to see you, Maggie.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good.
And we're going to talk about a lot of different things today. One of them, we'll get into this in just a few minutes, is this forum here. But overall, you've got several things to talk about. I'm looking at one of these because we had Joan Milliman on the other day, yesterday,
right,
with Robert's Rules. And that's on your list to speak about here.
Right, it is. But first, I'll talk about our ballots.
Yeah,
we almost
very
forget
important.
about the ballots. There's so much else going on in the village. But the ballots are out, and they're due Wednesday, September 27th
Right.
at 5 o'clock. They'll be counted on the 29th at 1:30, though it will be no surprise who the winners are.
Right.
But it is important for everyone to please turn in their ballots. If you just flip it over, put it back in the envelope, sign the envelope, and so on, that will be fine. Give it back to us.
Okay.
So that we meet our quorum. And it's nice if you check a few of the candidates, but it isn't necessary. It's kind of a vote of confidence
Right.
or something like that. But if we do not get a quorum of ballots back, then we have to repeat the process.
Yeah.
Which costs us thousands and thousands of dollars.
Right.
18,000, I think it is, something like that. So just let us do it one time.
Yeah. That's true. I think we know who's going to be on the board, but as you said,
we know, but
it's a vote of confidence. It's going ahead and turning those in.
Right.
You wouldn't want to have to do it over again.
Right. But we had a very good turnout on the last balloting, so it would be great if we get good turnout.
Very good turnout.
So that's it. But talking about meetings, we are working on a speaker request form, though it isn't really a speaker request form. It is a speaker/request form. So it's a form, here, there are 3 on this page. It'll be a form on a card like this, and it's just for information for us. Sometimes when speakers get up and speak, they mumble their manor number, or some of them try not to give their manor number, and they speak their name so quickly, because they're used to saying it. You know, I'm Maggie Blackwell, you know.
Yeah.
And we're not used to hearing all the names, and so we're trying to catch those names. The secretary's trying to get in them, I'm trying to get them, and we compare notes afterwards as to who said what. And then we try to figure out, okay, the manor was C or D, no C, and so on. And then we're trying to take notes on what they say. And this form will allow people to fill out the meeting date, the agenda item. It's really simple, or you don't even have to put the agenda item because we'll know when you write it. But your name, manor number, email would be great because we'd love to have it, and your phone number also. But it says your name will be placed in the queue. Well, when they get one of these, you'll put it into a box. You can go to a meeting, fill this form out, and never say a word. And we will get this communication precisely. So this is a very direct way of communicating with the board without going through the call center or something. But you don't have to get up and speak, and you can fill it out anytime you want in the meeting and put it in the box. What we will do is when the person approaches then to speak, when it's the time for member comments, then we will have their information, so whatever they say will be clearer to us.
Okay.
And we will have a written form of what their interest is. What's their comment about? Is it about landscape or parking or whatever? And so this will really help us with our record keeping. Don't be paranoid. It's not for any fishy reason or anything like that. It's just to help us at the meeting.
Okay, very good.
And then we have this record. It is a record, and we have this record, and you know you produced a record for us that you actually filled out a complaint or a comment or a request form. If you want to request something, you put it on here too. It's just an all-purpose form, but You can just come to the meeting and fill it out.
Okay, I have a question. On the form, of course, it says agenda item number. When you have member comments, there would not be an agenda item number.
Well, I think
because,
that's usually number 5 or 6.
Yeah, but I mean, as you know, you have people that stand up and if they start to speak of something that's on the agenda later,
Right.
you go, okay, we're going to get to that. So at least this way, if they want to talk about the budget or whatever, agenda
Right.
item 12, that would be held in queue until then.
Exactly.
Okay,
Right,
that's what I
right.
wanted. Now, when are you looking to implement this? The meeting coming up next week,
Well,
or
I
a little
don't know
further
if we'll
down the
be
road?
ready for next week, but
Okay.
the whole back side will be room for your comments and
Yeah,
statements.
I've got
so
the
that's
back
why.
side here.
There you
This
go.
may not be exactly what it'll look like, but a little hard to see there.
Yeah.
So that'll be on the back side of it. So
Right.
Yeah.
So you
This
have-
one obviously has 3 forms, and you don't fill out every one. It's just the way
Right,
this
right,
is.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it would be great if we could have it ready Tuesday, because the sooner the better,
Yeah.
because we've been struggling.
Well, of course, the October meeting is the annual meeting.
Oh, yes, right,
Yes.
right, right.
So maybe by November.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, just as soon as possible. and this, I was going to talk a little bit. Joan did a great job talking about Robert's
She
rules.
does a
'cause
very
she's
good
a
job.
guru, you know,
Yeah.
she knows all of that. But I wanted to say some things about Robert's rules. A lot of people come to a board meeting or they go to court and they are afraid they are not going to be able to be heard or that people won't pay any attention to them. So they get all excited and they sometimes get out of order. And Robert's Rules is a procedure that is supposed to help us run an orderly meeting and hear the people that need to be heard at the right time. And then we discuss it and then we vote. So the first thing is the chair hears a suggestion for a vote. I propose this or this measure or something like that. And so they state that, and then people might make amendments, and then the directors each speak about it. Sometimes the chair will go around the table, so each director does it, or sometimes only 4 of them will want, so then she'll say, Director so-and-so, Director so-and-so. Now, when you are speaking at a meeting, whether you are a resident or a director, you are only to speak to the chair, according to Robert's
That's
rules.
right.
This stops all kind of name calling and rudeness and anything like that. And the chair will speak to the resident, but the resident and the directors may not call each other names. Henry said this, and I don't agree with that. Don't say that. You just say, Madam Chair, I don't agree with that. You can call Juanita Madam Chair, or you can call her Madam President. And everything is to be done so that things are logical and calm and comprehensive for everyone in the room. And there's no reason to make somebody angry or upset or insult someone when you're trying to persuade them of your argument. The more logical and the calmer you are, the better off you are for getting people to listen to you. So that's why Roberts is very specific. There is to be no name used. All you refer to is Madam Chair or President in our instance. Then you will get to speak at the correct time. And it's important, and Juanita will always read the instructions, and they're on this sheet, that this comes if you're just speaking to a general topic.
Right.
Then you do it at member comments, and you speak at that time. You queue up in the line, and you speak. Now, even when directors are speaking, if we get repetitive, if everybody goes around and is saying the same thing, but they use their full time to say it ever so hard, and then the next person says the very same thing, and then the next person says the very same thing, except they're excited, and then someone says, well, I am so-and-so from somewhere and somewhere and somewhere, and I have done this and this and this, and then they say the same thing, then the chair may say, are there any new
Right.
ideas? And if someone gets up then and says the same thing, she may say, thank you, you're out of order because this is not a new idea, so debate
Right.
is closed. That is just to keep the meeting going. It doesn't matter how many times we hear a good idea. If it's an idea, it's a logical
Right.
idea, it's a view, it is a view from someone, and we are listening, people are listening. So you don't need to beat us up, and you don't need to shout and get the applause of the crowd. Some people are playing for the crowd, and we don't need that because we're listening before we vote.
Right.
We have to consider all the issues. The more views and the more issues we consider, the better off our decision will be because we'll cover everything. So this is really important.
Robert had good rules.
He has very, very reasonable rules.
I want to ask about, this was brought up in the meeting, about the Handyman Plan. And I know really over the years sometimes this has been looked at, but the fact that people may have a small job that they cannot perform, whatever it might be,
Right.
maybe putting in a new faucet or whatever. And this is something that you folks are looking at, so tell us about that.
That's right. Third and 50 are both
Yeah.
looking at this, but they have to be slightly different because 50 has
Right.
a co-op. I mean, third has co-ops, and some of our things are
Right.
covered, and those will be covered automatically anyway. You can make your usual call. But this is something like if you want some blinds, you need some blinds over your kitchen, then you can call them up and they will come out. And we're thinking of a range of about $200 a year, and that would give you maybe 2 visits a month,
Okay.
something like that, of a couple of hours each. If you already have something, if it's something covered by the mutual, then that is covered. But these are special things, like you need a fan installed in
Right.
your dining room, whatever, something like that, then we will be able to do that for you, so you don't have to go to Home Depot or try and get somebody.
Okay.
A lot of us don't have a nephew living in San Clemente or something who can do
Yeah.
it for us, and so we need something like that. We're creating, 30 is going to create a list of tasks, and United is now going to create a list of tasks that will be covered. It can be things like, I have a king-size bed, I can't possibly turn that myself,
Right.
although I have a few times. It's really dangerous. And so you can get them out to do that. If it takes 2 people for a few minutes, they'll bring 2.
Okay.
But otherwise, just 1 person.
Let me ask you along those lines, because you mentioned a fee, a yearly fee. What if somebody doesn't want to do the yearly fee because they go, well, I may only use this once? Can they pay a one-time fee, or are you looking at all different ways to do that?
Well, we're looking at that, but that requires a lot of bookkeeping and an
Okay.
alternate system. We have some pay-for services, and we will include those in it, but we'll have to decide in our conversations, because if that requires payment and fees and whatever, and that may be a little complex. The main idea that the other groups that have that, the other housing developments that have this, is a one-time-a-year fee, usually paid in January. It would
Okay.
be like $200.
Okay.
And it's good for service throughout the year.
Okay.
And we'll decide about how many and how long they can be.
Okay, because you know the 2 points that or the 2 examples, obviously turning a mattress takes minutes.
Yeah.
Putting up a ceiling fan can take 2-3 hours
Right.
or more.
And if you have large plants, they
Right.
can repot a large plant.
Okay.
They can move some furniture around for you, things like that you should not really be doing yourself.
Okay, very good. And also reviewing some of the, you like to go over I should say, when you have these committees, they're open meetings. They're important that people come there, because that's where everything begins
That's
before
right.
it gets brought to the board as a whole.
That's right. The committee meeting, usually a card or something, or a letter or whatever, is sent to the service desk,
Right.
and we get it or we hear about it. But the person also comes to the committee
Yeah,
meeting and
very
says,
important.
"What about this?" You know, and we talk to them about it, and they bring us pictures of, or we go visit the site and see what's up. And this is where some of the problems and issues generate.
Yeah.
We understand them, and we have an example right here. And these might be an issue which called for a rule change or something like
Right.
that, other than just a service call. So it's important, and you can hear about what we are trying to do with the landscape, which Kurt has that program on it. And we can hear what it is, what your issue is, and we put it on. If it sounds like a frequently occurring or recurring issue, then it might become a real issue that maybe we should develop
Right.
a policy on. And that's, the policies and ideas generally come from the committee.
Right. Yes, they do.
And so then we make our proposal as a committee, we work on our proposal, and then we present it to the board, and they put it on the board schedule, and then it's
moves that way.
discussed twice, and on it goes.
Yeah. So that's a really good way to get things started if there's something particular that you're interested in. And you can always find out the appropriate committee that you should be at.
Oh, right,
because they can be
right.
confusing at times.
Right.
But that's where they start, right?
That's right.
All right. Anything else you'd like to add for today, Maggie?
I just wanted to tell people, don't be afraid about cannabis.
Okay.
United Board is not trying to stop the usage of cannabis in any way or the procurement of cannabis. What we are trying to control is businesses functioning out of residence.
Okay.
And that's our only concern. We don't, certainly we never know who will need that. It's
Right.
very valuable, so.
Okay. Thank you very
Okay.
much. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a good weekend.
Okay,
And
thank
remember, United's next monthly board meeting will be on Tuesday at 9:30. We'll be right back.
Okay, thank you.